What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. For those of y'all who don't know who I am, my name is Gio, and today I'm going to take you through my journey of getting into my dream school, Columbia University, for grad school. With admissions decisions coming out this month, some of y'all might have already got your decision, some of y'all might still be waiting, but as I wrap up my last semester at Columbia, I thought it would be fun to share my journey and my story with y'all. So without further ado, this is my story of how I got into Columbia University. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, let me actually give you some background context. I actually had a pretty rough upbringing growing up. My family and I were low income. I didn't really grow up with much. I grew up a person of color and first generation and part of other minority groups. And I wanted to preface this before we jump in because I'm someone who never imagined going to an Ivy League school, quote unquote. To me, it seemed like an impossible dream that I was never going to achieve. So I wanted to make this video in hopes to inspire others who grew up like me, who look like me, who come from where I come from, and really just say anything is possible. Life is really what you make out of it, and as long as you're pursuing your dreams relentlessly through persevering through challenges, you're bound to reach heights that you could have never imagined. And that's something that I wish I knew when I was younger, and something that I would tell my younger self. So yeah, I just wanted to preface that. So now that that's out of the way, let's jump into the nitty-gritty. I actually graduated from UC San Diego with a Bachelor of Science degree in Public Health with a concentration in Medicine Sciences and a minor in Business, which is actually pretty funny. I graduated with a 3.5 overall GPA, but at the time when I applied to grad school, I think I applied with like a 3.4, which honestly was kind of average considering the schools I was applying to. But you know, at the time I was very ambitious and a little delusional, and I was told by my mentors to aim for the stars, and so I really applied to the grad programs I was really passionate about and actually could see myself going to. I applied to an overall 4 grad programs and I was accepted into all 4, but ultimately decided to choose Columbia because it was my dream school and I always wanted to move to New York. Summer before I applied to grad school, I actually did an internship at UCLA called the UCLA Public Health Scholars Training Program, and it was a really dope experience. I think I was like 50 or so students selected from an applicant pool of like 5,000 plus. So it was a really prestigious internship program, which I'm very grateful for having the opportunity to be a part of and get to experience. This internship really allowed me to gain more exposure to public health, the industry itself, and that summer I learned a lot and grew both professionally and personally. During my internship, I was paired with a mentor and was actually given the opportunity to work for a federally qualified health center, or otherwise known as an FQHC, that served a low-income disadvantaged population. And working at the FQHC, I actually got to spearhead a COVID-19 vaccination outreach campaign that focused on destigmatizing the patient's concerns on getting vaccinated, as in public health there's a lot of mistrust in the government. So my mission was to decrease the transmission rates among that population, and in that role I gained a lot of analytical and professional skills that would later be really beneficial to my career. I want to mention this internship because it was really pivotal in laying the foundation to my grad school application. This internship also allowed me to present a health equity research project at the Center for Disease Control, which was really dope. My group project examined the lasting global health impact of communicable diseases in low-income countries. And at the CDC convention, we got to meet with other public health scholars from different schools and other important public health professionals. And ultimately, this inspired me to pursue my higher education and obtaining my master's degree in public health. I had several reasons as to why I wanted to apply to grad school, but one of them was actually networking with the public health professionals at the CDC, and their stories really inspired me to obtain a MPA. And another reason is I grew up low income, a person of color, and part of other minority groups, so I witnessed and experienced firsthand the injustices that plague the disadvantaged communities that I come from and that I'm a part of. So my lived experiences is what really inspired me and drove me to pursue higher education, because I wanted to be equipped with the skills and knowledge to create an impact on the communities that I come from and that I'm a part of. And if you know me, you know that I had a really tough upbringing growing up. My family struggled to make ends meet, and my single mother sacrificed her own career so that her sons can achieve their dreams, and I'm very grateful for that. She always told me that there's only one thing people can't take away from you in this world, and that is your education, and no matter how expensive it is. I also wanted to mention that my brother was really pivotal in my success, as he really set the standard for academic greatness and really being a role model for me. And reflecting on where I am today, I couldn't have been prouder of where I am. I am very blessed to attend one of the most prestigious programs in one of the best cities in the world. So I'm just really grateful to be here today to tell y'all my story. So enough of that, let's get into the application process. The application process was no walk in the park, let me tell you. I spent countless hours refining my personal statement and reaching out to potential recommenders. There were definitely moments of self-doubt and anxiety, but I pushed through and stayed focused on my goals. At the time, I was also working 3 jobs, running my small business, going to school full-time, and was really involved in various extracurricular organizations at my undergrad university. I think part of the reason for my success during my application process was that I started my application very early. I think the application is due around the end of October or beginning of November from what I remember, but I actually started my application way back in August. And my most important advice to people who are applying to grad school or grad programs is to know how to tell your story and why you want to attend grad school and why you would benefit from it. Just as I shared before, I really re-emphasize my mission for wanting to go to grad school and how I would benefit from obtaining a higher degree. Another big tip for the application process is to do your research on the programs you're applying to and really knowing why you want to go to grad school, and share your story just as I did. And you know, really knowing how to tell your story, I think that is a really big important part of it. And another one is to, again, start early. I can't emphasize enough how early you should start. I think giving yourself enough ample time to look over your statement of purpose, reaching out to those letters of recommendations is really crucial to having a successful application. When I was applying myself, I set deadlines for when I would have my statement of purpose done and when I would reach out to my recommenders and have them submit by. From what I remember, I submitted my application on the very last day that it was due, but I was actually done with my whole application 2 weeks in advance. Just because I'm someone who likes to be organized and type A about things and like look over things and just make sure that I have everything that I need and everything down. So again, my best advice for those who are applying is to stay organized, start early, know how to tell your story, and know why you want to go to grad school and how to benefit from it, and give yourself enough time. The next part of after you submit is just waiting, and the waiting game is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the entire process. Honestly, I remember constantly refreshing my email inbox, hoping I got any news from any of the schools that I applied to. It was honestly a roller coaster of emotions, but I tried to stay busy and distract myself as much as possible. My advice, I would say, keep yourself occupied with hobbies and activities that bring you joy, and remember to practice self-care during this really stressful time. For me personally, it was my last year of college, so I kind of went crazy. I went out every day, I worked and worked out every day, I went to school, I hung out with all my friends, I did my hobbies, I traveled, I did everything I wanted to do in my last year of college, and honestly it was a really great distraction for me, and it helped me go through the time really fast. And it was honestly the best year of my life. I loved every second of it. I am someone who is a strong believer in what's meant for you will never pass you. So having trust and faith in the universe has always brought me good fortune and brought me so much abundance in life. And I think one advice is you already put in the work in, so learn to just like let go. The universe has always gotten your back, and once you trust that, beautiful and magical things can happen. And I did that, and that's where I am today. I just trusted the universe and learned to let go and really let God and the universe decide my fate, which probably is not the best advice, but that's what I did. Keep yourself busy and you'll be fine. I found out I got into Columbia on February 14, 2022, Valentine's Day, which was honestly the best Valentine's Day ever. I was actually celebrating being single on Valentine's Day with my other friends who were single, and I was actually just chilling at my friend's house, and we were just drinking mimosas and hanging out when I suddenly got an email from Columbia University. I'll never forget the feeling of pure joy and disbelief when I saw the words like, "Congratulations, you've been accepted into Columbia University." I literally had to go to the other room where my friends weren't because I was worried that I wasn't gonna get in, and I just didn't want to be disappointed in front of my friends. But I remember the moment being very surreal, and I couldn't have done it without my unwavering support of my family, my friends, and my mentors. So I'm very, very grateful for them. That was honestly the best Valentine's Day and best gift I could have ever had in my life. After I got in, my friends and I celebrated really, really hard. We went to dinner, I cried, I laughed, and it was a moment that I honestly will never forget. The acceptance to me meant a lot because I grew up never thinking it was possible for me. I actually visited Columbia a year before I got in, and I remember during my visit, I manifested and decided that I was going to end up at Columbia, and it all worked out, and it was honestly one of the greatest moments of my life to date. As I wrap up my last semester at Columbia, I am filled with excitement and anticipation for what's to come next. I'm really eager to graduate this upcoming May with a master's in public health with a certificate in health promotion research and practice. For those of you asking like what's next for me, I have no idea. However, I do imagine working to bridge my passions for health and more of my creative passions for marketing, advertising, and creating art and just being in a creative space. I imagine my work being a culmination of who I am, someone who is really passionate about health, passionate about art, passionate about creativity, and finding the balance between that. So hopefully I can pursue my dreams and make an impact on those communities I come from using the work that I'm a part of. And to anyone out there who's dreaming of pursuing grad school, whether it's at Columbia or elsewhere, I hope my story has inspired you to chase after your goals with the passion and perseverance. I'm someone who didn't have a lot growing up. The odds were literally stacked against me. So if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. I literally just trusted my gut, followed my heart, took action on my dreams, and remained grateful every day. I also just wanted to say that your worth isn't really determined by what school you go to or what institution you attend. It doesn't really define you. For me, I think I've found most peace and happiness and joy pursuing my life's work, practicing gratitude, and just doing relentless work to make a positive impact on the world. Your accomplishments do not define who you are. You get to decide who you are. It could be anything you want it to be. I think I'm still learning and growing and deciding who I am. And yeah, that is the story of how I got into Columbia. I want to do another video of like my experience at Columbia, and that's a whole separate video because I have a lot to say about that. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey and listening to my story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I love to hear from you in the comments. What are your grad school goals if you're applying, and what questions y'all might have? I can go into more detail about that. But until next time, take care, keep chasing those dreams, and my name is Gio. Peace.